David Wilhelm is one of the nation's most experienced political operatives. He was campaign manager for Bill Clinton's 1992 presidential race and served as chairman of the Democratic National Committee during President Clinton's first term. Today, David is president of Woodland Venture Management in his home state of Ohio. The company launches venture capital funds in the Midwest. David's a director of the Environmental Law and Policy Center. He recently sat down with us to talk about energy and environmental issues in the presidential race and some of the environmental projects he's working on in Ohio.
They're big issues this year. In some ways, they may be playing out more dramatically on the Republican side, where you have a candidate like Mitt Romney suggesting that the heartland's ills are related to government regulation of the auto industry, and John McCain saying, wait a second, global warming matters. The issue hasn't really been engaged the same way in the Democratic Party, perhaps because it's become sort of part of the Democratic mantra to say global warming matters. But it's interesting to see it play out, and I think the ramifications for where the Republican Party stands with relationship to global warming as a political issue will be determined by this primary season. I don't think anybody's really positioned the issue in a fundamentally compelling way yet. And I think maybe because the way I think the issue needs to be positioned is in a way that is relevant to the economic lives of middle-class people. I don't think it's enough to talk about global warming or energy in isolation from the day-to-day challenges that average people face. I think those of us who care about environmental issues, those of us who care about alternative energy, need to figure out ways that we make it relevant to the job creation strategies, to income boosting strategies, to ways that allow people to think, look, this is an important component of my economic future, and I therefore should care about it. So I think the issue needs to revolve around the green collar jobs of the future, the ways that people might be trained for the next energy economy. I think those, to the extent that that has not yet occurred, to the extent that middle class people do not yet perceive environmental and energy issues mattering in their own lives, those issues won't crack through. The second we make the case and make it effectively that energy reform or the next energy economy or environmental issues are relevant to income levels, to job opportunities, then we're going to win. Ohio's an interesting place. I mean, there was a day when Ohio was the center of the universe for energy. The oil industry was founded in Ohio. Natural gas, coal, you name it. Ohio's history is, in a very large part, the history of the old energy regime. We now have a governor, Ted Strickland, who has called for the passage of legislation that would require 25% of all energy in Ohio to be some form of alternative or advanced energy, and that 50% of that be produced within the state of Ohio. So I think when that passes, that is going to launch a tremendous level of entrepreneurship with regard to alternative energy, and I intend to be among them. I'm doing some work right now at a place called the Wilds. It's a world's largest conservation park, 10,000 plus acres of land that is reclaimed strip mine land. And we are looking at some interesting blended energy possibilities at that place. And also engaged in conversations with state government officials about interesting strategies as well. I grew up in southeastern Ohio. I grew up in coal mine country, 10 miles from Athens, which is the town I grew up in. It was the site of the largest mine disaster in Ohio history. But 10 miles in the other direction from where I grew up is a town called Nelsonville. It houses a community college called Hocking College. And interestingly enough, this college has just launched a new school designed to train workers who were formerly looked to coal as their only means for sustenance. They've just launched a school designed to train the green-collar workforce of the future. So people that used to think that their futures consisted of working in the mines are going to be trained to install, maintain, repair wind energy turbines and facilities, solar equipment. It's a fascinating thing that sort of out of this non-sustainable coal region comes this very sustainable commitment to the alternative energy of the future. It's an exciting thing. So who knows, if we can get it right in Ohio, maybe we can get it right nationally. And it's very interesting to see Ohio lead the way in some of these areas.